Hello, guys. Hello, my dear friends. I hope you can hear me and you can see me well. Greetings from Kyiv. Please confirm if you can see me and you can hear me well. And This is 5 by 5. Thank you so much. Greetings to all of you. Really happy to spend this rainy autumn as of Ukraine evening together with you, especially when we have so many good things to talk about. And my beautiful guardians, friends, and moderators confirm that sound and picture is okay. And here I want to thank Philip and Martin and Spencer and Rudy and Michael for being amazing guardians and also super great friends. We do cheer each other up, and thank you so much. It's never enough to thank you. And Spencer makes it even better, reminding you about our running NAFO campaign. Actually, we can break a record and make something really good and helpful for the Ukrainian armed forces because we have only 7% left to finish the fundraiser and to add more percent to the destroyed Russian oil refineries. Greetings to Brazil. And I always love to dedicate a couple of our first minutes of the conversations to the places you are watching us from. Greetings to Trev and Francois, who are now together in Poland. Greetings to you guys. So happy you made friends and now travel together. Greetings to Edinburgh. Thank you so much, Serkan, and merhaba to Turkey. And thank you so much to all the good people who already made our community stronger. Thank you, Duncan. Thank you, Bivan, for the sponsorship. And thank you so much to everyone who helped with, once again, our NAFO campaign. An American in Poznan and Finland and Southampton and Stuttgart and Sweden and Stockholm and South Africa and Saskatchewan, Canada, and again Sweden and Cape Town. So you see a lot of people watching us from Sweden and from South Africa and from Denmark. And Thank you so much. And of course, I have to greet the kittens. These are special agents of the channel. You see that my friends keep reminding about that. So, kittens, my honor, and greetings from the capital of Ukraine. Greetings to Tuscan and Vancouver and England. And thank you so much, Neil, and greetings to the UK and Poland. Hugs to Poland and the United States and Vienna. Oh, Rudy. So really happy to spend this evening with you. And and to Vancouver, of course, where we have some really good friends. So today we will talk a little bit more about the disaster of the Russian oil refineries because there are lots of topics that we can discuss, and it's very promising. It's one of the things that not just make me feel optimistic, but it is also the thing that makes lots of Russians pessimistic. Even those Russians who are not anti-war, who want to expand the Russian empire, they feel very dissatisfied with what is happening on their streets. And Sweden again, and New Zealand, and Wales, and Malta. We have an extremely diverse community, and I always read your comments, and that is an amazing way to communicate. Please remember, I never invite you to chat. I don't have time for private chats, especially on Telegrams or WhatsApp, but we always communicate here in the comments. And I've received a very nice idea with which I agree. I keep saying, like, in every corner of the world, But then one of the friends mentioned that the world does not have corners. And that's so right. So, Czechia, everybody's watching your elections. I'm sorry, maybe that's off the topic, but we do worry. And thank you so much, Andre. We do worry. The results are. Uh, and we also watch Georgia protests here in Ukraine, because we know it's super important to protect ourselves from the Russian influence, and most importantly from the expansion of the Russian influence on so many post-Soviet countries. That's exactly what they are working on. We see Orban, we see Fico. I know that I have a lot of amazing supporters from Hungary and from Slovakia. I lived in a country with Yanukovych, so actually I never equate, with government presidents with people. That can be a huge difference, and it's difficult for people sometimes to go through such experiences. But what the Moscow regime does now, they invest a lot in various populists, in various anti-EU, anti-American movements to cause problems and other things. Greetings from Germany, and thank you so much, Brigitte, because I know that yesterday Germany celebrated the Day of Unity, and it's so important to connect our paths. And in Ukraine, we know how it feels to be separated by the Kremlin. So hopefully, this experience of reunification is something that awaits Ukraine too. Greetings again to Finland and my beautiful. So, I wanted to ask you, how can we substitute this phrase, people from different corners of the world, because you're not from different corners of the world? So, what would be a good phrase that we can use in our community to describe friends that come from everywhere? Maybe some native from around the world. That's a good phrase, because I'm not a native speaker, and like every corner of the world. That's what I heard. Earthlings from all around the world, one world, different spheres of the world possible. But maybe when we talk about more spheres around the world, I see that around the world is winning. Yeah, global supporters, that's what we are, and I'm very grateful. International Legion, totally agree. But I meant when we actually want to underline that people come from, like New Zealand and Finland, from Brazil and from Iran, north, south, east, and west. Anna's army. I'm honored, but here we have a lot of people. You are very kind. Yeah, people of the free world. By the way, that's exactly what unites us. That's beautiful. Greetings to Denmark and worldwide friends. That's what you're like, playing with my pronunciation. Worldwide friends. So yeah, indeed. Thank you so much, Serkan. Teşekkür ederim. Um, and this is really beautiful that you make our community stronger, and global community. So I agree, people from all around the world, global community, people from the free world, all are beautiful, and we will actively use them on the channel. Once again, from time to time, I will keep reminding you about our fundraiser that is pretty successful, and I'm very grateful to all the people who donated. You know that NAFU people are amazing. They have already prepared the trucks and the drones for the Ukrainian armed forces, and you know how the Ukrainian armed forces are using them. Also, I encouraged you to ask some questions about Kyiv, maybe because, right now I'm in the capital of Ukraine. I love Kyiv. When you work and stay in Kyiv, not just for a brief visit, it is quite tiresome because it's so big. And I know that you like quizzes. We had one. previously when we talked about the number of republics that were part of the USSR. And now I want to ask you, how do you think how many people live in Kyiv? Of course, this cannot be like very concrete numbers, but approximately, how do you think how many people live in Kyiv as of May 2025? 3 million, 3 million. You're like all very smart people. 1 million, 800,000. No, Neil, 4 million, 5 million, 3 million. Well, 20 million, not yet. Well, what are your versions? All of them 2.5, 2.4, 5 million. Well, officially 3.9 million people live in Kyiv. So it's a big city. Plus, there are a lot of cities around the capital, like smaller towns around the capital that are a part of this like agglomeration. I don't know if you have a similar word. So I think that together it may come. You're just on time, Thomas. Greetings to Sweden. So I think it's like to it. Well, Istanbul is a very big city. It's one of this like centers, travel, airport, and trade. And I hope Kiev will grow into something like that after we defeat the evil. But this Kiev, yes, thank you so much, Cheryl. Kiev metropolitan area can actually be larger, and all those cities that you heard about, unfortunately, from bad news, like Bucha, like Irpin, they are a part of Kiev metropolitan area. So there are a lot, like in general. Um, yeah, I agree. Don't grow like Istanbul, says Serkan. Maybe, but because to tell you the truth, Kyiv is big for me. I come from Lutsk and I live in Lutsk most of my time. I don't plan like of moving forever, but for work, for various things, sometimes you have to spend more time here, and it's very big. Plus, Kyiv is divided into two banks, left bank, right bank, and like most of the sleeping areas on the left bank, most of historical, interesting business places on the right bank. And it takes forever to cross one bridge. Like there are lots of bridges, but you can guess during this rush hours, it's super difficult to cross the bridges. We don't have like I know that in some countries you have roads that you have to pay for. We don't have anything like that in Ukraine. All roads are free, but it takes a lot of time. Also, we have underground. Do you know how many branches the Kyiv underground has? Maybe that's also a part of our quiz, so that you know a little bit. Kyiv is 665 years older than Moscow. You know why it made me feel so easy to guess, to remember this date? Because like 666 is a bad number, and it is actually, I guess, just, I'm sorry, that's my light. It's imperfect so far. Just a second, but you can see me. You can see me, you can see me, and you see, like, it's all life and problems and adventures. They happen from time to time, and it's not the first moment that it happens. Oh, I don't know what, because actually when I filmed a video for you today, it also happened to me. So there are three branches of underground in Kyiv, and we have one of the deepest metro stations here, Arsenalna, and I spoke about that. But if we talk about the number of stations within the underground, there are a lot, 52. But not enough. But not enough because some of these sleeping districts on the left bank, they are not that, like you cannot reach with the underground, those specifically like inhabited by people areas, and it's difficult. So what is quite problematic to some extent with Kyiv is that it is like it takes you a lot to travel. It takes you a lot to get from one place to another place. It's beautiful if you have the price of metro. Thank you so much, Neil. You mean like how much do you have to pay to enter? 8 hryvnias. 8 hryvnias. And who can tell me? Thank you so much to Balkane. Happy to see you, and thank you for your continued support and friendship. 8 hryvnias. $1 is like 41 hryvnias. So let me tell you how much. Or should I switch to euro? Let's do it. See, we have a very practical like class today. So if we have like 8 hryvnias, so you have to pay 20 cents. Yeah, you can get a pass, of course. It may be, I don't know, cheaper, or there are some social additional things. So it's not expensive. And also, if you travel, I don't know, to Dublin or to some EU countries, you can clearly see that it's well, a Ukrainian is traveling to some countries of the European Union. One of the things that you notice first is that metro and trains are very expensive, and that drinking water is very expensive. So to tell you the truth, people, when you visit Kyiv, when you visit Ukraine, you can be surprised that everything is very cheap, and food is cheap, drinks are cheap, museums are cheap, taxis are cheap, and that's one of the reasons that many people don't know about Ukraine. And when they see Ukrainian people, I don't know, drinking champagne, they believe, oh, they have spent like $200 and something. No, it is definitely cheaper. So I asked you to put some questions that you want to know about my stay in Kyiv. And coffee is not expensive. Uh, in general, I believe it's not that expensive. Thank you so much, William. Greetings to South Dakota, and missed hearing from you. Happy to hear. So, now I wanted to have a look at the questions, some of the questions, and there were some positive questions about coffee. Well, I have to tell you that coffee is good in Ukraine in general. And my dear moderators will not let me lie. We have discussed that this will be our coffee stream, that we will be drinking coffee while talking. So I have my cup for like a really good coffee. You can see how big it is. I think that that's exactly the size of a cup that some of coffee lovers I know need. So yeah, so right now we are having it. So in Kyiv, coffee is really good. And when I travel, I'm sorry, people from other countries near Ukraine, when I travel and I drink coffee outside Ukraine, I am often disappointed. And we often describe coffee abroad as, like brown water. And I'm sorry, but we are not a Starbucks nation. We like this classical coffees, and you can have coffee in really small cups here, just like in Italy, they do. A lot of people like espresso or it's a funny, I will quote Steve, is the cup big or is Anna very small? Both. So there are different kinds of coffee. People like flat whites and lattes. You know that I like orange coffee. And this is the things that many people speak about Ukraine that we do have. Yeah, many people drink stronger coffee, but many people like it with milk. Now, various vegetable milks are popular, like cocoa or like wheat milk. Like a lot of people drink non milk. I've told you that my favorite coffee is something that um, not many of you will enjoy, and actually not many of my friends enjoy, but in Ukraine it's pretty popular. It's orange coffee, or some say bumblebee or something like that. It's espresso and orange fresh in one cup. And you can drink it cold with ice, or you can drink it hot, and I like it a lot. But once again, it's not something that I totally understand if you don't like it, if you don't like finding pieces of orange in your coffee. So remember to like this video to help more people know the truth. And I'm always grateful when you subscribe, when you advise our channels to our communities, to your friends and family. Also hit notification buttons, and greetings to Switzerland. Thank you so much, Martin. No, it's not soda, it's orange fresh juice, like freshly squeezed juice that I like it here. Good places to eat to Balkane. Cheers to you with this really big cup of coffee. And a lot of places. Like I know that a lot of you people who visited Ukraine like Puzata Khata and talk a lot about Puzata Khata, but that's just like a fast food. And like there are other places of Ukrainian cuisine. So a lot of, like, I can tell you dozens of places where it's really tasty, but maybe I can focus on cuisines that are popular. Of course, the Ukrainian one, of course, Georgian, Crimean Tatar, because Crimea belongs to Ukrainians and Tatar people that were born there and live there. And of course, people in Ukraine eat sushi and pizza. It's super popular, and I won't lie, I like it too. And by the way, my friends who had to relocate from Ukraine to Britain to the European Union miss Ukrainian style sushis that are closer to the Japanese ones than what you will find in Europe. And I also tasted in EU, and ours is way better. So I have a lot of friends whom you can tease. I don't know, they live in London, and you will say them, but so I can say that seafood is quite popular in Ukraine, and a lot of people eat it, and you can buy a lot of really good fish and things that are impossible to find in the supermarkets elsewhere. It's not about luxury, it's just about like traditions. Right now people eat a lot of herring, and I know this unites us with the Baltic and Scandinavian people, but at the same time a lot of you will say, oh no. Of course, borscht is a national dish, and we have a really good video about borscht on the channel. And the question before we continue with oil refineries: do Ukrainian people hug when they first meet? Uh, p- well, if you mean people who are friends or people who know each other, they can, and it's more common among young people, among young generations. But it's okay to hug. Kissing is rare. It's more common about among young girls, like schoolgirls. Maybe when someone is really close friend of yours and you haven't met a person for quite a long period of time. But in general, it's okay. But if you don't know a person well, no. It's mainly among the friends, among those whom you really want to hug. I can tell it that I like it when people hug me. I have to know a person really well, otherwise it's a violation of my personal space. And thank you so much, Trev, and greetings to Poland. And thank you so much, Norman. One interesting thing about being a communicator and having a bigger community of people is that many people believe that you are like if you're good at talking, then you enjoy talking all the time and you enjoy talking with people you don't know really well. That's not about me. And I'm more of an introverted person in my private life. I'm okay with talking on stage in the lights, but I'm not that good meeting people I don't know. Um, Thank you so much, Pat. I'm always happy to know that you are here, and thank you for your continued support. So, uh, let's talk about something really huggable and really great, and that is minus 40% of the Russian oil refineries. I have recorded one more video today that will appear on the channel after our live, and it is about the destruction of one more Russian oil refinery. But what makes it unusual, what makes it really interesting, is that it is it was destroyed with the help of some partisan movements, riot groups inside Russia. Thumbs up for that. Let's make 700 likes. Because this is serious. This creates a lot of problems and nerves for the Kremlin dictator, because they think they control everything. A lot of really good people who know Russia, who study Russia, who analyze their mindset, know that one of the main parts of this Kremlin regime, or what makes them survive, is control. They need the feeling of control. Russians love it. They want to know. Thank you so much, Neil. But this time, this is not a dash. This is something new. They have a name, Chornaya Iskra, which is like a black sparkle, and which means that more and more of such movements like a dash, like some Russia Free Russia legions and so on, can appear, and the more of them will grow, the more dangerous for the Putin's regime. So they are very focused on the control. Many Russians agreed on this authoritarian style of rule because it guaranteed them control and stability. They love it. That's a part of their life. And when they see that there is no control, they are losing control, that's when they start to worry. So, to tell you the truth, one of the main problems that we can cause to the Russian Federation, to Putin himself, to the Kremlin gang, is to make them feel they don't have control over their country, over their space. And that's exactly what happens, because let's be realistic, there are dozens of areas that Putin does not control anymore. Russia is a no-fly zone, and I'm not exaggerating. Recently, Putin visited Sochi. Once it was his favorite residence there, but now he cannot afford these trips because he's afraid of the Ukrainian drones. Thank you so much, Tony, for buying me coffee in this really, really big cup. I wonder if Martin has a similar big cup. So we are almost 700 viewers and we have 700 likes. This is super sweet, and I'm really happy that you joined me today in Kyiv. So to some extent, you may say that you visited Kyiv today because you have been here with me. So when the Kremlin realizes they don't have control, because so far they are fighting with the help of media, with the help of propagandists, with those people who constantly worship Putin and tell whatever he wants to hear, they still create this image of the control that they have. But Russia does not control its borders. We've witnessed the Kursk operation, Belgrade, and Belgorod, and a lot of other places where Ukrainian troops can go in and out. I will. So, also, a more important thing is a no fly zone. Russia as a no fly zone. Moscow and St. Petersburg, their capitals, economic centers, where lots of Russian mafioso live. And that is important. Then we see perhaps the most important achievement, the most important advance is the strategy to destroy Russian oil refineries. Tell me, please, those of you who are in our community for a long period of time, maybe since 2023, 2024, do you remember how I started reporting about the visits of Ukrainian drones to the Russian oil refineries? Do you remember like how unusual that was, how excited we were, and that it was so unbelievable? And these strikes were not so popular. It happened rare. It was always sensational, something breaking. I was so proud to report about that. And sometimes actually you won't let me. It's actually so great that we have our community for this period of time, and that you are friends, and maybe you will even remember that we started with oil depots. These were not refineries, these were oil depots. And we were always so excited. And thank you so much for becoming patrons. We were always so excited to see depots. And these are just like huge tanks, storages of oil that were used by the Russian army close to the front lines on the temporarily occupied territory. So we started with depots, and that was already something big, something important. Then we proceeded to oil refineries. It was once in a couple of months. You know that typically oil refineries consist of a lot of structures. It's not just one system that operates, there are a number of systems, a number of various uh, refining instruments. They are huge. And even if a part was damaged, explosions, we reported about them and we were super proud. And now it's totally different. It's not just about visiting and destroying some oil refineries, it's about the destruction of the industry in general. And I'm very proud of that. It's not like my Ukrainian account, it's the news that you can find on Reuters, on BBC. I share a lot of I share a lot on my X because lots of news. I report that it's not the best place. It's quite toxic, but I believe that Ukrainians have to be present there too. Thank you so much, Francois, for your support. And I believe that we have to be present there too. So if you want links and information, I either connect them in the description of YouTube videos, or you can find more on X or Blue Sky. But now it works not just as a strategy, but something above strategy, as a super strategy, because we are doing that very systematically, and we work with regions. So Ukrainian drones repeatedly visit one and the same oil refinery to destroy the majority of its systems. It may take one night, it may take 3 nights, it may take 2 weeks, but the results are halted operations on these oil refineries. There are dozens that are not working, and this accounts for 38% of their oil refining industry, which makes it huge because people like 12% more, and this will be half is a lot because we're talking about all of the Russian Federation. We're talking about the largest country in the world. We're talking about the country that described itself as a gas station. So we began with this erasure, destruction of oil refineries. And Ukrainian drones kept returning until they are not functional anymore. Thank you for the sanctions imposed by your government and kept by your government. And that is why we need to persuade the White House, no matter how they feel, no matter what happens, not to lift the sanctions from Russia, because this prevents them from repairing these oil refineries. They cannot get the necessary parts, they cannot get the necessary specialists, because once again, being totally dependent on their resources, Russia invested billions of dollars. Thank you so much, Cindy Anna. Greetings to you. Russia invested billions of dollars in the renovation of these oil refineries, and they were constructed, they were developed with the help of what? Of course, not obsolete Soviet parts, not something old developed inside Russia, but they are working with this very serious EU and American systems. And now they cannot maintain them, they cannot buy them. So, this is how it works. First, Ukrainian drones pay a number of visits to a particular oil refinery until it doesn't function anymore. It cannot be repaired and it's put on hold. It stops. It does not refine oil anymore. And it had a lot of like operating systems within. Sometimes it's the total destruction. Sometimes it's the destruction of the particular part that is most difficult to reconstruct. Mind, these are legitimate targets. We care about the rules of war, and this makes me even more proud of the Ukrainian military strategies. Thank you so much, Roberts, for joining the Patreon. Thank you for your support. Actually, you see, I'm a very responsible person, and now we have two channels. Anna Danilchuk is one more, and recently we've celebrated 20,000 friends there. If you haven't subscribed yet, do subscribe, and today a new video will appear on the channel. An interesting one where I dive deep into Russian Telegram channels, analyzed why so many Russian military vloggers are dissatisfied with what is happening there. So do subscribe to Anna Danilchuk. And I see that the sheriff has just dropped the link. Thank you so much, Andrew. And thank you so much, Erin, for your support. And thank you so much, Alan. So we first, keep visiting oil refineries, destroying the systems, then they cannot repair them. Another detail, important fact that many media experts miss is the fact that we are able to visit those refineries a lot of times. Thank you so much to Volcane. Your support is same big as this cup. So we keep targeting one and the same oil refinery, for example, for a couple of nights because we need to finish the job. We are working on our cruise missiles. We are asking for tomahawks. We are asking for a permission to use your long range missiles. But what I love about the Ukrainian attitude is we're not waiting, but we are working. And this work becomes like visible and effective. We are working with what we have. And right now we have the inexpensive long range Ukrainian drones, and they do the job. They do the job. But they also expose this weakness of the Russian air defense and the thing that the Kremlin did not think they would need to protect their territories. They thought everything is okay. They don't need, like, who will attack Russia ever? Putin claimed that his special military operation was the reason, to defend Russia. Of course, it's total BS. It's Russian propaganda. Thank you so much, Joe. Yeah, our drones know the way to refineries. So we expose this vulnerability too, because once again, working with a particular oil refinery, the drones were able to return there twice, two times, three times, as many as needed. And Russians, knowing that now Ukrainian drones are working with this oil refinery, could do nothing. They wanted to protect it. Trust me, they don't want such headlines to appear in the global media, in the Russian Telegram channels. They realize that the fuel crisis is the greatest ever, but there is nothing they can do. So let's expand this strategy. After we erased, destroyed, put on hold a particular oil refinery, we started working with the region. Thank you so much, Thomas. Thank you, people. I value our community so much, and I'm so grateful that many of you joined me today in Kyiv. And now you can officially say that you spent this evening, or at least an hour of this evening, in Kyiv, the capital of Ukraine. And please hit the like for that to celebrate our evening in the brave capital of Ukraine. So After destroying these oil refineries, we kept destroying the read like I mean a number of refineries in a particular region. And I have already reported to you that, for example, the south of Russia experiences tremendous gasoline shortages, partially because the majority of oil refineries in the south of Russia are turned off. So not just one oil refinery put on hold, but we're talking about a lot of the Russian oil refineries destroyed and non operating in the whole regions of the Russian Federation. Now, many even inside Russia report, thank you so much, John, and kvass is a really good drink. Not many nations drink kvass. I don't know how to describe it. It's a non alcoholic drink, but it's super tasty and to some extent resembles beer because it's fermented or something like that. But coming back to our burning Russian oil refineries, 38%. 38% is a lot, and we're talking about a country smaller with lots of limitations, with no tomahawks. Just think about that. This is the war of the 21st century, and this is what happens when you protect your motherland. Because our determination, our desire to protect our cities is incomparable to this hungry desire of the Russian looters. Merhaba. Oh, teşekkür ederim. I'm sorry, but merhaba is also good. Thank you so much, Serkan. And so after we managed to, you have like a whole gang inside our community supported by you. So we paralyzed whole regions. And Russian propagandists, Russian media, they have to speak openly about the problems, and they also keep asking about the Russian air defense, of course, but they have already accepted the fact that we destroy their oil refining industry. You know, preparing for the video on Anna Danilchuk channel, I was surprised to learn that lots of Russians don't even like lots of Russian newspapers, they don't hide the truth. And they keep speaking openly because there is a headline in one of like Komsomolskaya Pravda or something like that, or Kommersant. These are big Russian newspapers that millions read. They say that there is a great decision. Now, Moscow will send its oil to China, and China will make gasoline out of that oil. And they describe it as a success strategy. People, just think about that. You know, why Russia needed all these oil refineries, not just to create gasoline and various oil products, but also to, sell it, because they are a resource country. They only earn from selling their resources. But just think about that. They sell this oil because, like, when it's refined, it's expensive. It's more expensive than you simply sell this like raw oil. So now they will sell raw oil to China for some cents, really cheap. And China will sell back petrol that otherwise they could have refined, could have made inside Russia. And they describe it like, thank you, crude oil. You see, like, it's there is an easier way to say it, but I'm not looking for the easiest way. Thank you, Serkan. So what we observe is that they want to show the fact that they realize they've lost 40% of refineries. They have nowhere to refine the oil. They will send it to China and then buy from China back to try and solve the gasoline crisis that only grows because fires on their oil refineries keep growing. And they describe it as a success strategy. as a success strategy when in reality it's a failure. And this is what happens when the nation is tricked for such a long period of time, when people do not know the truth, when people decided to agree on whatever they tell them. So we observe tremendous problems with refining abilities, and that was an important branch of the Russian economy. It's not something like, I don't know, gathering cherries in the orchards. It was never a part of Russian business. It's oil. Lukoil, Gazprom, Tatneft, these are the first companies you know about when you think about Russia. These were symbols of the wealth of the Russian Federation, and now they are the symbols of the collapse of the Russian Federation. But our strategy continues to develop. So we have spoken about this kind of evolution development that you experience together with me on the channel. First of all, it's first the destruction of depots, then the destruction of some parts of refineries, now the destruction of all systems within a refinery, inability to repair it because of the sanctions. And then we also talk about the destruction of refineries in a particular region, which leaves that region without oil, something that we experience in the south of Russia. This is a larger development. But what makes it more creative, during this month in September, you heard a lot about the visits of Ukrainian drones to the pumping stations and gas and oil pipelines. These are vessels that the Kremlin was using to deliver that oil to the ports, to the specific places to sell it. So we not only destroy oil refineries, we also destroy the infrastructure. And thank you so much to Balkans for making us stronger. Thank you so much. Thank you, people. And I guess I need to take another drink. Thank you so much. Thank you to all the people who buy coffees, who become patrons and sponsors of the channel, who leave comments, who share the videos, who push this button notification. And also thank you for supporting our NAFO campaign, because it's important. It's the most important thing. And now we're talking about the accomplishments of those people whom we can help with these beautiful patches, including me, including spiderweb operation, including flamingos. But these people actually provide us with this Russian geography materials and with the map of the destroyed Russian oil refineries. It's actually huge that Russians share maps, just as in Ukraine, because of their invasion, we have maps of air raid alerts, and they have maps of working gas stations in Russia, the country that was always a gas station. That was always a country selling oil to so many different nations. But right now they don't have enough of things, and they keep talking about buying it or borrowing that, or they actually lifted some restrictions on the import of oil products and gasoline. Unbelievable for Russia. Thank you so much, someone. And another someone, thank you for buying me coffees. You see, like, because of you, I have such a big cup. And soon we will have 1,000 likes, and that's important. That's huge. So, oil pumping stations destroyed, pipelines destroyed. Of course, there are many more, but the results are amazing. 38, 40%. That is a lot. And 1,000. Thank you so much. If you're wondering what is flying around me, this is a sweater season, and in sweater seasons, those nations that like Sweden, like Denmark, that share our cold destiny. Like sweaters appear, and together with sweaters, a lot of fluffy things appear around you. So we seriously destroyed it, and now I had a message about non-stable internet. So if something happens, I'm sorry, you have to know things are happening. And by the way, what I wanted to tell you is I'm in Kyiv. I read updates very attentively about air raid alerts, and it's so unusual that today we know that a big attack was possible, will is possible, or the next night they will target our electricity infrastructure and everything they can. And I've shared that with my friends on our moderator team, that we already know that tools, bombers, aircraft, thank you so much, Custom Fantasy, flew out. For example, sometimes I'm reading these messages, and for you to imagine, it looks like a number of two aircraft are already flying in the direction of Ukraine. They are flying from far away, sometimes from the Sea of Caspian, somewhere elsewhere. They are with missiles, and it takes them 4 or 5 hours to reach Kyiv, for example. So you literally know that in 5 or 3 hours something awful is waiting for you. And okay. Thank you so much, Renee. So we know that it's either this night or the next night we will experience a big air raid alert. And people, you keep asking about the weather. Missiles are coming, drones are coming. The weather is just like an October weather. So I have to tell you, just imagine this unbelievable feeling when you know that these pilots are already in this aircraft, that someone has already put these missiles and has already put the missiles on board of them, and they are flying in the direction to target your homes, and you know they are flying. So this is another very important reminder that uh, another important reminder that it's not just Putin's war. It the war of millions of Russians who supported this war, and it's also the war of. It's so interesting, Neil. We cannot shoot them because these bombers, they don't need to cross to uh, they don't need to cross to the Ukrainian airspace. They can do it from the Russian side. That's what they do, and we are not allowed to target them with long-range missiles given by our allies on the Russian side. So we can only fight with missiles, but of course it's way easier to destroy an aircraft full of missiles than to try and catch missiles, especially when they keep changing them. And they also make this a combined attack. So first go drones, that your air defense is exhausted, then go missiles. But that's the life, and you already know that. For example, I know that either this night or the next night I won't sleep well. So that's insane. And let's not just pretend that Russia is normal or Russia is negotiable in such context. I know you know that, but that's the reason why I keep asking you, sharing the videos, because this can change someone's opinion. This can change someone's decision. Maybe some people who make decisions watch us, or some people will hear and go out to support Ukraine. All of that is very, very important. So I wanted to finish with this good news that also ports were targeted that export Russian oil. They don't have what to export, but still in Tuapse and Novorossiysk. This is the strategy. It is not pure terror what Russians do to Ukraine when they simply try to frighten everyone, to show awful things happening, and to believe that Ukrainians will demand to surrender. We won't, because we understand that as long as Putin is legitimate, as long as justice is not served, they will continue to other countries, to other regions. Awful things are happening on the temporarily occupied territories, and we cannot forget about the people who live there. And once again, my beautiful friends remind me uh, uh, it reminded me that NAFO campaign is moving, and I want to thank you so much. Thank you so much to Balkane for your support. And uh, if I'm making some language mistakes, please be calm. Don't worry. I'm Ukrainian and I will preserve some Ukrainian things, because if I'd speak ideal, I don't know, English or Texas accent, perhaps you would not think I'm from Ukraine. So if I make some mistakes, come down. I will say reclaim the territories, but that's not the word that is actively on my brain. And hablo español un poco también y quiero practicar más otras idiomas. So mistakes will happen from time to time. Be tolerant to them. That's the way to remain friends. And also, please understand that in a war, to win, you have to have a strategy. Ukrainian strategy is successful and Ukrainian strategy is visible. It's to destroy Russian war economy. That's what fuels their tanks, their bombers. That's what helped them buy missiles from China, Iran, and North Korea. That is what helps them. And uh, with Russia, it's pure terror. They want to frighten the world, they want to cause blackouts, they want to persuade people that like you cannot win, or something bad will happen. But that's the classical bully or terrorist approach, and by listening to them, abiding to them, you cannot succeed. So it's super important to defeat them and to do it where it hurts most. In case with Russia, it's oil refining industry. Also, the fact that more and more of the oligarchs, more and more of the people realize that Russia is a war zone too. And I'm always happy to see and to read that their military vloggers are worried and dissatisfied with the course of this war. They don't care about Ukrainian children, they don't care about Ukrainian homes, but they start worrying about what is happening. Thank you so much, Peter. Thank you for your continued support and friendship. Um, so they started worrying, and I explain more on the new Anna Danilchuk channel, which my beautiful, beautiful, and beautiful friends keep sending here as links. So remember to subscribe and watch a video today, tomorrow, when you have time. But I believe it's useful. It's a little bit different. Some people asked me, what's the difference between Anna from Ukraine and Anna Danilchuk channel? Anna from Ukraine is more about recent updates and the things that we discuss right now inside Ukraine, and I want you to know from the Ukrainian perspective. And on Anna Danilchuk, I have weekly, longer videos where I may talk more about my memories, my feelings, or I collect some information. It's not that up to date. Of course, it's still about Ukraine, Russia, war, dangerous times, but it's more reflective, it's more discussion style. And here I want to update you so that you know the truth, because once again, so many people keep talking about the front lines when they are not moving. Let's be realistic. For more than a year, maybe 2 years, these front lines are not moving. And if we're talking about one empty village destroyed by the Russian bombs, taken by the Russian soldiers, and then another Ukrainian village destroyed by the Russian soldiers taking back, it's Anna is almost always sober. I'm sorry, but I'm a serious girl. So when we're talking about this like small movements, it's nothing. And especially if we count the number of people that Russia loses for such attacks. So front lines aren't working. Front lines do not decide anything. And people keep talking about like the front lines, forgetting about 40% of the destroyed Russian refineries, forgetting about the gasoline crisis and huge queues in 50 out of 83 Russian regions, forgetting about more protests in far east of Russia, in Altai, in Sakha, forgetting about you will see that in the new video, new groups appearing, new like movements, rebellious appearing, and Ukrainian armed forces report that some of the operations were conducted with their help. So that's what we have to focus about. That's what I'm talking about on the channel, because even good media still lives in the world of the Cold War, Soviet Union. When you look in the east of Europe and all you see, and even center of Europe, and all you see is Russia. No, there are many more beautiful countries that kick the Russian. You can guess. So once again, thank you so much for spending this evening with me. Remember to check new videos that will appear both on Anna from Ukraine and Anna Danilchuk. I'm sorry if it will be too much of me for you today, so you can, but I'm always happy when you watch, when I can share the truth with you. And also follow the updates from Tbilisi, from Georgia. Let's support these people. The Kremlin will be defeated, and it's easier to defeat it, like from different directions. Once again, I want to thank my beautiful moderators, Michael, Philip, Martin, Spencer, Rudy, all the good people that made our community stronger, Tubal, Serkan, Francois, and many, many, many more good people. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And United We Stand, please share these videos, consider supporting NEFU campaign. Let's do it, we can do it. And soon I will report from this beautiful moment when we meet the units for whom we collected all this together. Once again, thank you so much, love you very much. You've spent this hour in Kyiv. Tell it to your friends, become our ambassadors, and check the merch shop. It helps to start conversations about Ukraine and the need to defeat Russia. Love you. Thank you so much. Lots of hugs from Kyiv, an extremely brave and beautiful capital. Slava Ukraini!